Everybody makes their own decisions and everybody makes their own choices, but they're not the only ones that suffer the consequences.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most notable television series that have seen their once pristine reputations sullied due to significant controversies surrounding their stars and/or producers.
One of the most famous and admired men on the planet, but now, after his stunning downfall, that legacy forever tarnished.
Number 20, Allison Macks' involvement with NXIVM, Smallville. Although it premiered on the relatively new network, the WB, Smallville quickly garnered a dedicated fanbase among young adults, which thrust its main cast into the limelight. Among them was Allison Mack, who played Chloe Sullivan.
Let's just say Lana wasn't the one fated to be in Clark's life.
During her time on the show, Mack became involved with the self-improvement cult NXIVM, rising to a prominent position within the organisation. Leveraging on from her fame from Smallville, Mack recruited several women into NXIVM, who were subsequently exploited in various forms.
It sounds like a horror movie, what you're
It was a
describing.
horror movie. It was the most inhumane, horrific way to treat anybody.
For her part, Mack pleaded guilty to racketeering charges and received a 3-year prison sentence. Consequently, her association with Smallville has cast a shadow over the show, causing hesitation among many who may want to revisit it.
So should we do the I told you so part, or is my perennial bad judgment implicit?
Number 19, Charlie Sheen and Chuck Lorre's Feud, 2.5 Men.
You can't fire me. I quit. Think you can replace me with some other guy? Go ahead. It won't be the same.
In the glitzy realm of Hollywood, it's easy for egos to clash and drama to unfold quickly. Such was the case with 2.5 Men, the immensely popular sitcom co-created by Chuck Lorre and originally starring Charlie Sheen. The show appeared to be running smoothly until 2011, when Sheen launched into a tirade against Lorre during a radio interview, prompting CBS to halt production.
A high treason has occurred. The scales of justice are in a state of radical disarray. Together we must right this infantile wrong.
This decision affected numerous employees and incurred an estimated $10 million loss for investors. Sheen was eventually fired and replaced with Ashton Kutcher. Although Sheen and Lorre have largely patched things up since then, 2.5 Men will always be known for its 2 prominent men and the full beef between them.
Winning.
Number 18, Jeff Garlin's misconduct allegations, The Goldbergs. If you followed the ABC sitcom The Goldbergs, you might have noticed something strange with the character Murray Goldberg in the second half of the 9th season. Well, that's because actor Jeff Garlin, who played Murray, was dismissed from the show midway through the season.
That was a long time coming, and that it finally happened. It was like, okay, okay. Right. Finally, someone is listening to us.
Garlin had been the subject of HR investigations due to several misconduct allegations from fellow cast and crew members, who found his behaviour on set discomforting. Following Garlin's departure, stand-ins and CGI were used to fill his presence until the character was killed off-screen between the 9th and 10th seasons. For such a family sitcom, which typically provides comfort through humour and heartwarming moments, the incident left a negative impression on many viewers.
Open up! No! Open up! No! Open up! No! No!
Number 17, Chris Noth sexual assault allegations, Sex and the City. While he didn't play one of the central characters in Sex and the City, Chris Noth's presence still loomed large in what remains arguably his most well-known role.
It was Mr. Big, Major Tycoon, Major Dreamboat, and majorly out of my league.
Noth's involvement on the show extended to a guest appearance on the spin-off series And Just Like That, until 2 women came forward with allegations of sexual assault. These claims stemmed from 2 separate incidents in 2004 and 2015. Noth, who denied the allegations, faced several consequences, including the cancellation of his planned return to And Just Like That. The incident prompted a re-evaluation of his conduct on Sex and the City, with one former stand-in also alleging that the actor exhibited toxic behaviour on the set of the series.
I mean, I figure I made my bed, I should lie in it.
You do that.
Number 16, Roseanne Barr's controversial tweet. Roseanne. Few falls from grace have been quite as swift and consequential as that of Roseanne Barr.
I mean, not only did she vote for the worst person on earth, but she was a real jerk about it, too. And now she's just ridiculous.
Decades after her eponymous ABC sitcom initially ended, it was revived for a highly anticipated 10th season, which premiered to groundbreaking ratings. However, all of that success evaporated in the blink of an eye after Barr posted a racially insensitive tweet about former White House advisor Valerie Jarrett. On the same day, Barr was fired, and the network swiftly reversed its decision to renew the series and cancelled it.
Within hours, ABC pulled the plug on the show.
Whatever potential the reboot showed was flushed down the drain in a matter of hours. Fortunately, the series was later retooled as The Connors, retaining the entire cast except Barr.
Are we horrible for laughing?
Well, I'm tired of crying.
Number 15, Ed Westwick sexual assault allegations, Gossip Girl. English actor Ed Westwick rose to fame with his role as Chuck Bass on the teen drama series Gossip Girl. While he went on to star in other projects, Westwick has always been associated with the show.
I'd like to experience the world of Chuck Bass. You're lucky I'm bored. Is that a yes? Get in before I change my mind.
Consequently, many of the fans who admired his work on Gossip Girl felt disillusioned when sexual assault allegations emerged in November 2017. 3 women accused the actor of forcing himself on them in 3 separate incidents in 2014. Westwick denied the allegations, stating that they were unverified and provably untrue. Following an investigation, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office declined to file criminal charges against Westwick due to insufficient evidence.
Chuck Bass, your lawyer called. You've been released.
Number 14, Phil Robertson's bigoted remarks, Duck Dynasty. The A&E reality series Duck Dynasty followed the lives of the Robertson family, a clan of duck hunters and entrepreneurs led by patriarch Phil Robertson. In 2013, Robertson faced backlash for comments he made during an interview that were deemed homophobic and racist. The widespread criticism led A&E to suspend Robertson from the production. However, this move only fanned the flames of the controversy.
All right, the feathers are ruffled on thousands of fans of a Duck Dynasty. They're rallying behind the star of the hit cable TV show. Phil Robertson is known for speaking his mind on the Backwoods A&E program.
Public opinion was divided, with some seeing it as an infringement on Robertson's freedom of speech, while others considered it a fitting response to his prejudiced remarks. The network eventually succumbed to pressure and reinstated Robertson, but the fallout had already driven fans away, causing a decline in the show's ratings.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
The door has been shut.
Number 13, Toxic Workplace Allegations, The Ellen DeGeneres Show. For years, Ellen DeGeneres projected an image of kindness that resonated across her various endeavours, particularly her eponymous daytime talk show. That image was irreparably shattered in 2020, when a group of former employees came forward, revealing a toxic work environment on set.
As a host, she's amazing, as a host. But as a boss, and someone who's behind the scenes running the show, she's a different person. She's not the person people see.
DeGeneres, whose long-standing mantra had been to always be kind, took responsibility for the toxic culture on the show and apologised on air during the 18th season's premiere. But this gesture did little or nothing to repair the damage.
I know that I'm in a position of privilege and power, and I realize that with that comes responsibility, and I take responsibility for what happens at my show.
Her once pristine reputation and that of the series had already suffered a major blow. Consequently, the following year, it was announced that the long-running daytime talk show would be coming to an end. Number 12, Jos Weeden workplace harassment allegations, Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel. The first domino to fall in the Jos Weeden controversy came in July 2020, when actor Ray Fisher accused Weeden of highly inappropriate behaviour during filming of Justice League. Fisher's claims were corroborated by other actors who worked on the film, but it seems Weeden's alleged misconduct stretched back several years.
I think it's easier to advocate for other people than for yourself, and I knew certainly 20 years ago that wasn't an option. So,
well, I appreciate it.
When I saw 20 years later that the same person was doing the same thing.
Actress Charisma Carpenter, who appeared in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and its spin-off Angel, alleged that Weeden had repeatedly harassed her and abused his power. She was supported by some of her other co-stars, including Sarah Michelle Gellar herself. Since then, fans of the Buffyverse have admitted to seeing the shows in an entirely different light. Once symbols of female empowerment, now tainted by Hollywood's pervasive toxicity.
I had no idea that I could be such a dick, and it was powerful and beautiful.
Number 11, Jessy Smollett's hate crime hoax, Empire. Jessy Smollett's hate crime hoax was intertwined with the show that brought him global recognition, Empire. On January 22, 2019, Smollett reported to police that he had received a threatening letter at Fox Studios, where the series was filmed. 1 week later, he publicly claimed to have been targeted in a racial and homophobic attack. However, as police investigated his allegations, they discovered that this was all an elaborate stunt orchestrated by Smollett himself.
Cops apparently became suspicious when Smollett didn't want to provide them cell phone records and things of that nature to help with their investigation. They quickly came to believe that he paid the Osenderos, I believe it was $3,500, to rough him up and frame Trump supporters.
Surprisingly, the supposed attackers had worked as extras on Empire. Following these revelations, Smollett was ultimately written off the show entirely. It's pretty clear that the stain of the hate crime hoax is one that Empire will have a hard time scrubbing off.
This is not a family. This is a disgrace.
Number 10, Mark Salling possession of inappropriate material, Glee. The Fox musical series Glee had already completed its award-winning 6-season run when one of its stars became embroiled in a controversy. Mark Salling, known for his role as football player Noah Puckerman, was arrested in 2015 for possessing inappropriate material involving youth.
We have confirmed through LAPD is that investigators were able to find hundreds of images.
Authorities would later discover over 50,000 of such explicit images on his computer and USB flash drives. This was particularly disturbing, considering that Glee attracted a large audience of young fans, given its high school setting. Salling ultimately pleaded guilty to criminal charges and was set to spend 4 to 7 years in jail. However, on January 30th, 2018, before he could face justice for his crimes, Salling decided to end his own life.
You think of Glee, you think of these really happy people, and who could do no harm really, just singing and dancing. Then when you think of that, you're kind of like, wow, the earth is kind of twisted in some ways.
Number 9, Jeffrey Tambor's sexual misconduct allegations, Transparent. One cannot overemphasize how groundbreaking Transparent was upon its premiere. The show delved into the complexities of gender identity and sexuality, while also providing job opportunities for dozens of trans people. However, shortly after the 4th season premiered, lead actor Jeffrey Tambor was accused of sexual misconduct by his former assistant Van Barnes, a trans woman.
It ran the gamut of sexual harassment, physical harassment, and verbal abuse constantly. And this all really falls under the problem Hollywood has right now with this abuse of power and misogyny.
About a week later, fellow cast member Trace Lissette, also a trans woman, alleged that Tambor had sexually harassed her during filming. Although Tambor denied the accusations, he was ultimately fired from the series. Consequently, the planned 5th season of Transparent was retooled into a musical finale, which was met with far less favourable reviews than the preceding seasons.
Our songs, they always sound the same.
Oh my God.
Number 8, Louie CK sexual misconduct allegations. Louie. When stand-up comedians develop series based on their lives, they often infuse them with real-life events. That was especially true for Louie CK, who created, wrote, directed, and produced the FX series Louie, in which he portrayed a fictionalized version of himself. In 2017, CK and the show were plunged into a scandal when several women accused him of sexually inappropriate behavior.
Corey says that incidents of sexual misconduct with Louie CK were common knowledge, that people joked about it and made light of it, but then it happened to her, and she says it made her angry.
This revelation prompted a reassessment of his previous stand-up material, some of which seemed to overlap with the allegations. Louie was ultimately cancelled after CK admitted that the accusations were indeed true. Due to the striking parallels between the show and the comedian, many have found it challenging to separate the art from the artist.
The fact that there is no greater threat to women than men. We're the #1 threat to women. Globally and historically, we're the #1 cause of injury and mayhem to women. We're the worst thing that ever happens to them.
Number 7, Mark Schwan's sexual harassment allegations, One Tree Hill. This teen drama series was created and executive produced by Mark Schwan, who also wrote and directed several episodes. While the show ended on a high note in 2012, it wasn't until 5 years later that disturbing behind-the-scenes tales came to light. A former staff writer, Audrey Walkup, alleged on social media that she experienced sexual harassment from Schwan while working on the show. Her claims were later backed up by 18 female former cast and crew members who signed an open letter detailing additional allegations. According to these women, Schwan's behaviour was an open secret and caused lasting emotional harm. Although he never officially addressed the allegations, Schwan was fired from his other show, The Royals.
You take away my future, I take away yours.
Number 6, Kevin Spacy sexual assault allegations, House of Cards. Regardless of his alleged atrocities, there simply wouldn't be House of Cards without Kevin Spacy. The actor's ruthless performance contributed significantly to the show's popularity and critical acclaim. Shortly after it was renewed for a 6th season, Spacy was accused of sexual misconduct by actor Anthony Rapp.
Everyone who's dealing with these sorts of situations does feel the courage to come forward.
This triggered a wave of additional allegations, including from several House of Cards staffers. As a result, Netflix fired Spacy from the show and completely severed ties with him. Despite this, Spacy wasn't done with Frank Underwood. He resurrected the character in a series of bizarre Christmas videos that seemingly addressed the accusations. Needless to say, just the mention of House of Cards inevitably invokes the thought of Spacy and the controversy surrounding him.
Now that I think of it, you never actually saw me die, did you?
Number 5, Stephen Collins admits to sexual misconduct, Seventh Heaven. For over a decade, Stephen Collins portrayed Reverend Eric Camden, a Protestant minister on the TV series Seventh Heaven. Through the show, Collins built a reputation as a wholesome and morally upright individual, but in real life, it seems he was the stark opposite.
Feel like talking?
Sure, what's up?
No, thanks.
Oh, it's your favorite.
Well, not right now.
Something wrong?
In 2014, an audio tape leaked to the press in which Collins discussed having inappropriate contact with minors in the past. He later fully admitted to the claims in an interview with People magazine, noting that the incidents occurred in 1973, 1982, and 1994.
God help me, took advantage. That's not the right word, but I
acted impulsively again.
I think taking advantage may be
Well, maybe it is
term.
exactly the right word.
These revelations directly contradicted the values espoused by the show, leaving many fans deeply troubled by the dissonance between Colin's on-screen persona and his real-life actions. Number 4, Danny Masterson's sexual assault conviction, That 70s Show. He once was a sitcom star, rising to prominence as Stephen Hyde on That 70s Show, before solidifying his presence with roles in Men at Work and The Ranch. In 2017, Masterson faced accusations of sexual assault from multiple women, dating back to the early 2000s during his tenure on That 70s Show.
This first went to trial last year. We first heard from the women who we aren't naming. They're all Jane Doe 1, Jane Doe 2, Jane Doe 3, and their stories were pretty horrific.
Masterson denied the allegations, but he was tried on 3 criminal charges and found guilty of 2. Adding to the controversy, his former co-stars Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis initially expressed support for him in letters seeking leniency, but later apologized after facing public backlash.
They were intended for the judge to read, and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or re-traumatize them in any way. We would never want to do that. And we're sorry if that has taken place.
For many fans, the once fond memories associated with the series have now become clouded by the stain of Masterson's crimes and their fallout. Number 3, Josh Duggar's multiple controversies, 19 Kids and Counting. As the subjects of TLC's 19 Kids and Counting, the Duggars were depicted as a deeply religious family committed to values of purity and morality. But not every member seemed to adhere to those values.
We went into the Arkansas State Police and... At police headquarters? At the police headquarters, walked in, this man was there. We went in and talked to him and said, hey, my son has something that he needs to share with you.
In 2015, the eldest child, Josh Duggar, confessed to engaging in inappropriate contact with minors, including some of his own sisters. However, he never faced legal consequences due to the expiration of the statute of limitations. But his family and their reality series never quite recovered from the scandal. Despite attempts to distance the show from Duggar's actions, it was cancelled shortly after. History repeated itself in 2021 when Duggar was arrested for possession of inappropriate material, resulting in the cancellation of the spin-off show Counting On.
The other situation, we had already brought closure to that. That was something of the past. But yeah, for sure, it was really difficult to come to grips with that.
Number 2, Bill Cosby sexual assault cases. The Cosby Show. Millions around the world came to know and love Bill Cosby through his sitcom The Cosby Show. The series, which was celebrated as groundbreaking for its positive portrayal of an affluent African-American family, became deeply intertwined with Cosby's public persona. However, beginning in late 2014, shocking revelations emerged that Cosby had sexually assaulted dozens of women over several decades.
In my head, I was saying, Dr. Huxtable, but I know, the Cosby Show was going on like this is happening.
As a result, the image he had built as a beloved father figure and role model shattered, and The Cosby Show became tainted by association. In light of the allegations, the series was removed from syndication in many countries. Cosby may have evaded justice due to a legal technicality, but his crimes have forever altered the way his show is perceived and remembered.
Bill Cosby was my boyhood mentor. There was no one bigger. Maybe Michael, but Bill Cosby was the guy. So watching this play out over the last few years, for a lot of folks, it's very, very difficult.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, toxic workplace culture. Dan Schneider's Nickelodeon shows. It isn't quite news that Dan Schneider fostered a hostile work environment on the sets of his popular Nickelodeon shows. Back in 2018, the network parted ways with him following accusations of inappropriate behaviour. However, many in the public didn't realise the full extent of the situation until the release of the 2024 series Quiet on Set.
Dan would come down and yell and scream. There was many times where I had to go, okay, you're creating an atmosphere on this set that is not healthy.
The documentary featured several cast and crew members, as well as writers from some of Schneider's shows, including Zoe 101, The Amanda Show, and Drake and Josh. These individuals detailed their negative experiences, alleging mistreatment, discrimination, and in some cases, sexual harassment. The revelations have left many fans grappling with the realization that the joyful and wholesome shows they grew up with were produced under troubling circumstances.
People were like, yo, my childhood is now traumatized by this.
Yeah.
And I feel grieved that you guys went through this, but I also feel trauma too.
What other shows do you struggle to revisit due to their associated controversies? Let us know in the comments below.
We would have these scenes written for us, you know, being with our intimate partners on the show, scenes written where we'd be in our underwear and whatever. And we found out from a writer that he kept a board of the fitting photos.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.